When the federal government wanted to get emergency COVID funding out quickly to the people, the places, the priorities that needed it most, they turned to United Way, because that is what United Way has done for decades. That is what United Way does locally. The national dollars announced by Prime Minister Trudeau will be distributed to United Ways across the country, and we will invest the funds in frontline agencies to support that work locally. United Way Greater Toronto is honored to administer a local portion of the federal government's New Horizons Fund for seniors and the more recently announced emergency community support funds as well. Here in Peel, Toronto, and York region, we are investing $850,000 from the federal government's New Horizons Fund for vulnerable seniors, as announced on March 29, 2020. We have a call for applications open right now, so agencies can submit their program proposals by visiting our website. And funding will support emergency needs of low-income and vulnerable seniors in program areas like Meals on Wheels, culturally specific programming, new responses for homebound seniors, and many others. We will also distribute a local portion of the Federal Emergency Community Support Fund, as announced April 21st. We continue to work with the federal government and United Way Canada on details to understand how many dollars will come to the Greater Toronto area. And of course, as soon as details are available, we will move quickly to make our application process online and distribute dollars to those frontline agencies to provide services for our most vulnerable. We know the demand for service has always outstripped the social service supply. The GTA's social service infrastructure was already stretched and slim. So when you add a crisis, it strains that safety net even further. Our research also tells us there are phases to a crisis: respond, rebuild, and recover. The government's funding we will receive and invest is for very specific rapid response, emergency investment in meeting people's immediate needs. Every month, United Way invests $6 million in 270 agencies across Peel, Toronto, and York region. That's why we continue to ask for donations for the rebuild, the recovery post-COVID, so that that social service infrastructure will be there for many tomorrows to come. Since March, United Way Greater Toronto has invested almost $1 million in rapid response emergency funding to well over 70 projects across the GTA, programs that are meeting urgent needs like food, shelter, mental health supports, like enabling the neighborhood group to deliver over 700 additional meals to vulnerable seniors and people with disabilities, or helping Street Haven provide shelter and other essential services like mental health support to women experiencing homelessness at this time. This welcome federal emergency funding is over and above the support that United Way Greater Toronto provides to our network of agencies. And let me tell you what United Way has invested. In addition to the $1 million of emergency funding we've distributed from our local love fund, we've also invested more than $6 million in local social services across Peel, Toronto, and York region, as we do every month. We've offered our agencies flexibility with this funding so they can pivot and invest where the need is greatest. This network, close to home, needs emergency funding today to respond to this crisis, and it will continue to need our stable, steady, and sustained support as it recovers and rebuilds in days and months to come.